The Gospel according to Luke Wurman. Attendance required, transformation optional. Luke was 35, successfully employed, reasonably polite, and absolutely certain he had mastered Christianity with the least effort humanly possible. He went to church every Sunday. Not most Sundays, not when he felt like it, no, every single one. He considered this his spiritual gym membership, the kind where you show up once a week, do the bare minimum, and assume you're basically an Olympian. His system was simple. Luke believed Christianity worked a bit like a loyalty card. You attend enough Sundays and you get a free salvation smoothie. He didn't pray much. He didn't read scripture unless it was projected on a screen. He didn't volunteer because, as he would say, my spiritual gift is encouragement from a distance. But he did sit in the same seat every single week, which he considered a form of tithing. Then, the sermon that ruined everything. One Sunday, the pastor preached on the book of James. Do not merely listen to the word and so deceive yourselves, actually do what it says. James 1:22. Luke nodded along thinking, yep, absolutely, people really should do that. But then the preacher added this: if your faith only exists for 90 minutes on a Sunday, it's not faith, it's a hobby. He repeated that line again. If your faith only exists for 90 minutes on a Sunday, it's not faith, it's just a hobby. Luke felt personally attacked by that. He looked around to see who'd snitched on him. Suddenly, everything felt suspiciously pointed at him and his week. Well, his week was basically ruined. On Monday, the barista asked how his week was going, and he realised he had no answer that didn't involve Netflix. A co-worker mentioned struggling with loneliness, and Luke said, "Oh, that's rough," then immediately pretended to get a phone call. His neighbour asked if he could help carry a heavy box, and Luke said, "Well, I've got that back thing going on," even though his back was fine. The heaviest thing he'd lifted that day was a croissant. By Friday, he was starting to wonder if just maybe Christianity wasn't meant to be a spectator sport. And then the breaking point. On Sunday, he arrived at church ready to resume his usual routine of passive holiness, but his seat was taken. A visiting family, 3 kids, one holding a juice box. Luke stood there, destitute, spiritually homeless. He ended up sitting in the front row, a place he had avoided his entire adult life because it felt too close to accountability. During the sermon, the pastor said, if you want to follow Jesus, you don't get to outsource the work. You just don't get to clock in and clock out. Faith is not attendance. Faith is obedience. Luke felt that in his spleen. After the service, instead of sprinting to the car park like usual, Luke lingered just a little bit. He helped stack some chairs in the auditorium. He asked someone how their week actually was, and he listened. He even signed up for a Connect group, though he wrote his email down so illegibly that God himself would need a decoder ring to read it. But hey, he tried. And for the first time, he realised that Christianity wasn't about showing up to church. It was about showing up to life with Christ at the centre, not squeezed into a 90-minute appointment slot. And the outcome? Well, the outcome, Luke still goes to church every Sunday, but now he goes because he's part of something, not because he's fulfilling a cosmic attendance requirement. He still sits in the same seat too, but now he lets other people sit there first. And every time he hears the phrase, faith without works is dead, yet he winces just a little bit, which honestly is probably a sign of life.